every single carnival band in the Caribbean should do this. Before you proceed to this video, write down the names of 5 people that you know who run carnival bands anywhere in the Caribbean island. Because if they do this, they're going to be able to generate revenue from a section they have never thought about before. Let's get into it.
My name is Clementine Afana, and most people know me as Clem, Travel with Clem, or Dr. Clem. I'm a digital marketer, a writer, and a traveler. You might have seen me in major marketing campaigns as a content creator or the talent. As much as I love being in front of the screen, I love being the marketing strategist behind the scenes. Companies love working with me because I see opportunities where no one else does and help them make money where no one else can. Whether you are a government, NGO, a corporate client, or a small business owner, let's work on your marketing and strategies together. After this video, check out the link in the description box below so you can book a call. But for now, let's get this on.
Alright, over the weekend, Paul's Experience, which is Dominica's Band of the Year for 2024, I think. Yeah, Carnival just passed. For 2024, just released their costumes, and for this year, they are the first band to release their Carnival costume. Now, I want to say that in as much as people like to say, oh, people in the Caribbean are always late, in doing X, Y, Z. I'm actually grateful that they are actually doing what a lot of people have been asking for. Release costumes early so we can start to plan, we can start to budget our money, because yes, even if you think that you're planning to come for Carnival in Dominica or anywhere, you need to plan financially, especially for the people who are located in the diaspora. And for a lot of us, deciding whether or not we play mass is really dependent on what the costume bands put forward in terms of the costumes offerings for the year. Again, to emphasize how much the costume band experience has been such a pivotal element of the carnival culture in years past. Now, what is the masterful thing that Paul's Experience did, and what is the masterful thing that I recommend to every single carnival band in the Caribbean? When we talk about releasing early, I also remember the year when Signal Band released their costume very, very early. People can sign up for the entire illumination package and so forth. So there are actually 2 of the bands in Dominica who released their costumes early. But now this year, Paul's released theirs before. I'm sure the Fantasy Tribes girlies and everybody else is waiting to see what Signal Band will have to offer this year. But let's get back to Paul's, because this is what we are talking about. The Paul's Experience released their costume, and what is the masterful thing that Paul's Experience did? This is something that I have really felt like is lacking in the carnival industry, and I've spoken about it on my platforms on social media, and I even created a few YouTube videos on that last year. And this year, I'm not the only person who has spoken about. I've also seen similar comments, similar sentiments from the people around the Caribbean complaining about this issue, and I'm very grateful that this year specifically, the Paul's Experience created a dedicated section for the people who want to be more conservative on the road. Now, before you come under my comments and start to say, oh, Carnival is about being free, about this, about this, that, about this, that, beyond just being a celebration of culture, Carnival is a tourism product, which means it's a business product. And whenever it comes to having a business or running a business, you need to be able to create a product that can appeal to different segments of the population. Obviously, the Carnival costume experience is not going to appeal to everyone, but if you are ignoring a segment of the population, you are making a huge mistake. And this year, Paul's Experience served us with a conservative costume, which is more like me. I said, finally, I see a costume that looking like me, a costume that is respecting me on the road. Now, what I like about this is the fact that, first of all, this costume is going to appeal to the girlies who don't want to necessarily be exposed on the road. There is a segment of the population who is more conservative, or who is thinking, you know what, I'm a young woman, I want to play mass, I want to enjoy the culture, but I don't necessarily want to have all my tete and my boom boom outside. That is a segment of the population. And a lot of us who feel that way, if we don't feel represented in the costumes that are being created, we are not going to partake. For me specifically, there are 2 key things that determine if I join a band. Now, there may be some other confounders that may act as points to either convince me or deter me, but these are the 2 key things: the costume that is offered and the music that is played on the road. I do not negotiate on this. I do not budge on this. I need to feel comfortable in my costume, and I need to feel comfortable with the music. In fact, I have been at events where if I'm at a party and I don't like the song that is being played, I just stop. I could be in a dance move. If the song is starting to act up or start to say things that I don't like, I just stop and I wait for the next song. That's how serious I am about my music and how serious I am about my costume. Now, by creating this conservative section, or this more demure, this more mindful, this more intentional section for the carnival band, for the Experience of Pulse, What Pulse did is that they have now opened up themselves or opened up their business to the section of the population that is thinking more alongside of these values. Sending that message, they're also reinforcing the message that you can be part of the culture without having to feel like you're stepping on your values. You can be part of the culture, participate in this experience without feeling like, you know, you need to be naked to be accepted. Now, I'm not saying that the people who are wearing different costumes shouldn't. I'm saying that obviously to each their own. Everybody wears whatever they are comfortable in, but specifically by creating a section that is more fit for the woman who wants to be more demure, more intentional, more mindful. You know, Pulse Experience made a very big power play and a very big marketing and business decision, which I think is going to give them a lot more signups than what they had last year. Now, what does that mean for the other bands? If you have not yet launched, if you are still in the design phase, if you are still in the consideration phase, what you should do is really go back to the drawing board, at least create a section for this segment of the population. And the next step forward would also be to create a version of your costume that is a lot more conservative for every single section. What the Carnival bands also tend to do is that, okay, because you think that somebody don't want to be a little more conservative or a little more covered, I should say, you just kind of like give bare minimal energy. No, I want to be covered, but there needs to be a little bit more dazzle, there needs to be a little more, you know, there needs to be more intention put in the costume. So the same effort that you put into creating the cutout costumes, put that same energy in creating the more covered up costume. So I like that Pulse costume. I will change a few things, like I will put a lot more bedazzle for sure. I would want to have a bigger back piece because hello, what's up with this 6-year-old back piece? I need like a big back piece. I know it'll be heavy, but I would want to have a bigger back piece. I want to have more bedazzle, like on the leg part of the costume, and a little more. But I love the fact that the costume is more covered. I will feel so comfortable playing on the road with that costume. So this is a message to all the other bands. If you are still in the drawing stage, if you are still in the ideation stage, if you're still cutting fabric on cut, if you're still designing, adjust the design, create for this segment of the population. Do not leave that segment of the population behind, because there are people out there, I know for a fact, there are people out there who are looking for an opportunity to play mass, but they don't feel comfortable in these costumes. And I think that as businesses, you need to think about what brings you profit. Yes, as businesses involved in the culture, which is very important when we talk about sustainable travel, when we talk about tourism, and when we talk about keeping the culture alive and keeping it sustainable for the long term. You need to think about what you're putting on the road, because whatever you're putting on the road can either continue to upgrade the Carnival experience or degrade the Carnival experience, and it can contribute to the longevity of the culture, or it can bring it down. So here are my thoughts. Let me know, ladies, what did you think about the Pulse launch? And men as well, let me know what you thought about the Pulse launch. What costume speaks to you the most? Which section would you join? So I told you which one was my favorite costume, right? My second favorite is this one, but again, for this one, if I were to wear this on the road, I would probably have like a band bra, or like I will have the breast section more covered and the bottom section more covered. But I also like this costume, and this one is my third favorite costume. So let me know in the comments below, what did you think of the Pulse Experience launch? Are you joining Pulse for this year? Is there any costume that speaks to you? And for gentlemen, what did you think? Are there any costumes that you feel like, yeah, I'm gonna be rocking this on the road? Because I know sometimes people are like, all these costume bands, they always cater to ladies, but they always forget the gentlemen, or they don't put as much effort in the gentleman's costume. So let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts.